ago, this month, we began filming for the Blob. So this is quite a, 60 years, man, do I feel old. I was 9.5.
Wow.
And used to tool around with Steve McQueen in his Austin Healy. I'll put it either closer or further back. You tell me what you want to do for the feedback. We're good, okay? But 60 years ago, also 60 years ago, during the filming of The Blob, my father took his 5 children, me with my 2 brothers and sisters, on the back steps right outside the basement room where Steve McQueen spent the summer, and taught us how to sing harmony. Because in early October of 1957, we made our first record. We were called The Little People. Not so little anymore. I think maybe I had a lot of money invested in this, let's put it that way. But, so I've been singing professionally. They wouldn't let us make our second record until we joined after. So I was compelled to join the union when I was 10. I don't hate unions. They're a good thing sometimes. This is also the 50th anniversary of the release of Way Out, which was my father's last feature about heroin addiction, shot in the Bronx and also in Phoenixville and in the studios in Chester Springs. So, and also 50 years ago, in 1967, I participated in opening a coffee house in Phoenixville called the Circuit Breaker, because there was nothing for the young kids to do. They just traveled down Bridge Street, down to Gay Street, up to Nut Road, and then down Star Street, and everybody just cruised the circuit. There was nothing going on. So the Colonial Theater bought a building next door to it in Phoenixville, and now they have 3 theaters, including the basement, one where I ran the Circuit Breaker Coffee House. And so at Blob Fest in 3 weeks, I'll be singing some of the songs that I sang in 1967 when we opened the coffee house. So now that building, that room has become a permanent 63-seat theater. So that's kind of fun also. Also, and absolutely most importantly, this is the 20th anniversary of Monster Mash. My father also, in addition to making films, did a lot of television and radio. In fact, he started in radio, singing here in Pittsburgh, was on KDKA when he was 10. And because my grandfather was a preacher in this neck of the woods, a Presbyterian back in the day. And so we started in radio and television and film all of our lives. We do that sort of stuff. And I lost where I was going with that. I got excited about KDKA because it was the first radio station in the country, and it was a clear channel station. So even as a kid, I could listen to KDKA as well as WKBW in Buffalo, WLS in Chicago. Any of you old heads who were into radio.
Louder!
Louder? Louder! Louder back North America. Remember that? Remember people had moving companies before pods came on the scene? Is that better? I can do that. Usually people tell me to calm down. So, but I won't calm down. Or I won't back down. No, that's Tom Petty. That's a whole other story. But anyhow, this is a wonderful summer. The sevens are really remarkable times for us. But now I know where I was going. In 1958, my father produced the first regularly scheduled videotape program in America, and we shot at WFIL at 46th and Market, which is where American Bandstand was done. And the biggest thing that I remember, other than seeing Dick Clark once a week when we came in to tape the show, until then, all videotape was used for time shifting. Nobody produced shows on videotape. And so this was produced on videotape called Secret Island. It was a kid's show, and frankly, he had a puppet, he fed marionettes, and he also fed goldfish and wore sneakers and played a pump organ and everything. So I'm thinking Fred Rogers saw that at some time or other, because the show was distributed on videotape. It had never been done before. Walter Annenberg, who owned Channel 6 and also on the Philadelphia Inquirer and TV Guide, and was later ambassador to Port of St. James, bought the first VGR outside of networks in New York and LA. So all of that was to tell you that what I remember about Bandstand is that everybody came on and lip synced. And they did a really poor job at it. And it was so funny because a lot of times they just couldn't do what they thought they were going to do. But I had brought tracks to sing my song, and somehow or other the Gremlins came in here and the tracks are not here. So I'm going to do more than lip sync. I'm going to sing along with myself on my CD. I was so looking forward to belting it out for you, but I'll have to not over-sing over the tracks. But I want you to know that I can still sing. And but anyhow, so if you'll cue it, I'm going to sing my song, which I wrote. By the way, if you Google Fangoria, you know the magazine Fangoria? If you Google Fangoria and Kris Yeaworth, they have a live stream of this song in there, plus a very flattering and humbling interview with me. And I think it starts off, Kris Yeaworth, a natural-born storyteller if there ever was one. So, in any event, you can play this at home, or alternatively, you can come out and buy a copy of the CD out of my table down at the dark end of the street. It's not dark there. It's all the way down Exhibitor Row, or whatever we would call that. But in any event, this is the song that I wrote that has to do with, and I use real life names and also characters' names from the Blob. And this is my homage to what it was like in 1957. Always confuses me when people the Blob is 1958, because we made it in 1957. But it's the release date that everybody cares about. But when you're working on the film, you put it, that's what I did the summer of 1957. I worked on the Blob, among other things. So, without further ado, this is me, my computer, and a good friend of mine playing crunch guitar. And I'll try to react so that I don't know what to say. Yeah! In 1957, something came around. The global media came crashing down. It changed forevermore the face of the sleepy old town. They brought horror chills and laughter all at the same time. And 60 years later, people still stand in line to run out of the theater being chased by that giant red slide. Oh, well, it landed out in Chester Spring where no one was around, till only told the ticket which part turned upside down. And it might have died out there because there was nothing around left to eat. We know it didn't quite have seen. But Steve McQueen going into town and raining like pain. And he hates sweet chase and the nurse that hold out Bruce's face. And pretty soon he threatened the entire human race. The night of it was over too. To make his name famous in the cinemas. Jack Henry showed Steve and Nita, Gene Ralph and Bert. I want to say that love to have you all come by my booth to say hi. I'm working on my memoirs. Our studios were in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. Chester Springs is, as my father used to say, the cultural center of the Western Hemisphere. We had no street lights, no sidewalks, no traffic lights. I went to a 2-room schoolhouse. They put in indoor plumbing the summer before I went. My sister started and had to use the outhouse, and yet we had all these internationally known people coming through there, and so it was a real dichotomy. It was, and of course, most of the actors used to complain, "It's so quiet out here." Well, yeah, that's why we live in the country. It's quiet. You don't have the sound of the traffic or the yell or the subway or whatever. So anyhow, I had a sign-up sheet. I had to make some revisions. My mother particularly had some issues with some of the things that I said. That was all true, but my mother thought that it was too much like gossip. So I'm rewriting it, and it should be ready for publication in sometime in August. I'll be releasing it, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. But Chester Springs is really, as I talk about in that song. I had a group called Chester Springs, and we used to play there. We opened up for the Bacon Brothers at the Colonial Theater in a concert for fundraising for the Pickering Creek Conservancy. So Chester Springs is really important to me and to us. But also, just want you to know that new this year, I got Blob stickers. And for those of you who are really well-heeled, you can buy a bit of the Blob, a bit of Blob. And I put it in, and you don't have to mortgage your firstborn in order to do it, but it's not cheap. But I put it in a little vial here with a lovely red top, or if you're in the Resistance or a Democrat, I have a blue top. Sorry, I just couldn't resist a little more. In any event, who wants a blue top on a red Blob? Come on. Anyhow, but come by and see me, and we can chat. I like to haggle. You've ever seen American Pickers? I like to bundle. My dad taught me how to squeeze a dollar until the eagle grins. And that means, that's why it was so much fun to work in Israel and Mexico and other places like that, because they like to haggle and I like to haggle. So it's kismet, as they say. In any event, it's a real pleasure to be here. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Ron, and he's going to he's going to pick up the other mic. Ba-doom, boom. And by the way, I guess the last thing I wanted to say here is that I have a painstakingly detailed copy, photoshopped and corrected and everything. It's my father's copy of the script for the Blob, which has all his camera angles and all his setup shots and stuff. It took hours and hours to do it and get it right. I made 6 copies, 5 for the family and 1 to sell. But it's not cheap. It's more expensive than the Blob, five times. But anybody,
but not as dangerous.
it's absolutely. You could get paper cuts. I don't know. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. But anyhow, I'm gonna go move over here. But the first thing I want to do is, and I want to give Rob 3 Blob stickers for the 20th anniversary.
All right.
That's right.
Thank you, Kris.
You're quite welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm just going to leave all this stuff here. You've seen the Blob, you've seen the thing. I'll pick these things up later. I'll pick them up later. So you saw what I have. I'm going to sit down. Actually, I don't want to get too close. I have rabies. No, actually, I've had all my distemper shots. I'm in good shape.
All right, well, we'll start a couple general questions, and then we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty, okay? And we want to hear all that gossip that you're cutting out. Now, okay, for those that don't know, the Blob was directed by Irving Yeaworth, and now he went by a nickname, am I?
Yes, his nickname was Shorty. He's Irvin S. Yeaworth Jr., I'm Irvin S. Yeaworth III. My son is Irvin S. Yeaworth IV, and he just had a grandson, and his mother said, no, I think we'll stay away from a 5th. So although I did see somebody out behind the woodshed with the 5th of Jack Daniels. But boom.
All right, now you were...
I'm sorry, to finish that up, his nickname was Shorty,
right,
which is an abbreviation for shortest. He was 6, he used to say I'm 6 feet and a half tall. He meant 6 feet and a half inch. But people expect him to be short because of his name Shorty, but it's just a contraction of short S. So all 3 of his names and mine are last names. Irvin was with Irvin, we go all the way back to the American Revolution on that side of the family, and he was a colonel in the American Revolution. Irvine had an E on the end, they dropped it over time. Shortest is another family name, and of course Yeaworth. And my nickname is Kris with a K, because they were going to call me, you ready for this? They were going to call me Tertius, because I'm the 3rd. And that would have been sort of like the boy named Sue kind of a thing. I would have learned to defend myself very early on in school. Fortunately, saner heads prevailed, and I was nicknamed after my father's favorite Norwegian uncle. And so it's Kris with a K, just like in Kringle.
all right, and another more general thing is that maybe a lot of people that know the Blob, but they don't realize it wasn't made in Hollywood, California. It was on the other side of the state.
Correct. Our film studios with 160 acres and 26 buildings used to be in Chester Springs, PA, 35 miles west-northwest of Philadelphia, and was a summer campus for the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, which is the oldest art institution in the United States. And so they had dormitories, they had 3 artist studios which had skylights with northern lights, so you get that really nice flat light for sculpting and painting without the harsh shadows. But it was great for art, it was terrible for controlling the light for film. So one of the first things that we had to do when we moved there to make film was they put fiberglass with tar on the glass skylights, which probably horrifies artists, but filmmakers will understand, because the ASA of film was so slow then that it was like 16 ASA for reversal film back in those days, and needed so much light in order to shoot things. So we had tenors, which were 10,000 watt lights, and it's just amazing. Now you can shoot with you can shoot in high def or 4K on your phone, and you don't need any light. So they've come a long way, but the film is certainly different than the digital. Once you get into convert everything into zeros and ones, it's a whole different ballgame. But yes, it was a great place to go up. And now, after we were there for 22 years, my dad sold to an organization called Historic Alice Springs, who promptly sold off most of the buildings after complaining that we weren't doing a good job of keeping them updated. There's another case of your eyes are bigger than your pocketbook.
Okay, and to get to some little personal things, Steve McQueen, Patty Duke.
Okay.
A few brief stories on
All
that.
right. Well, first of all, Steve McQueen, we met the year before we made the Blob because we were doing a 16 millimeter, I think it was about 45 minute long film for the Salvation Army, and it was a drama. And Anthony Frank, who plays, I think, Tony, one of the teenage kids in the Blob, was in that as well. So we knew him from that film. And coincidentally, he was in the film that Steve McQueen made the year before about St. Louis with, it wasn't John Gardner, it was one of the Barrymores, I think, was in it. And he was a Jewish kid. Steve was playing a Jewish kid who got picked on by the gang members. So those two, coincidentally, were in the film that Steve was in before, but he had it was an interesting part, but he wasn't the lead. He used to come down because he was dating a girl who was in Desperate Measures, which was the film that we made in 1956 for the Salvation Army. And so he had a souped-up Oldsmobile at that point. And then when he came back, he had an Austin Healey, and when he saw me, we were down by the garage of the pump house, and he said, "Hey, Kris, we're going to have a great summer," because he really had a thing for. That doesn't sound right. He definitely had a soft spot in his heart because he had been in and out of reform school type situations in his life, and he gave money to a charitable organization that worked with, I don't know if they were homeless boys or underprivileged.
Big brother kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think a summer camp thing. So he was doing it, and I knew all the back roads, so he wanted to, he would take me for a ride in his Austin Healey. I said, "Hey, there's a really great road here with a great S-turn," and they weren't as well paved as they are today, but we had a lot of fun, and then he stopped talking to me, and I didn't find out till about 10 or 15 years ago that my father said to him, "Steve, stay away from my kids." He was afraid it was going to be a bad influence on me. So I always wondered why that happened, and then I found out. So, but he was always good to me. Patty Duke, another thing, she had, I don't know if it was notoriety or whether you said, but because those quiz shows were always, rigged. And she won $32,000 on it wasn't the $64,000 question, it was called the $64,000 challenge. It was because they couldn't get enough of these game shows. And she won $32,000, and I think her category was spelling. So we never watched that kind of TV, so I didn't know who she was. And so when she showed up, I thought, well, she's cute. And so she thought I was cute. And she taught me how to French kiss.
Whoa! And in case you don't know, it was 4D Man.
4D Man is 1958, the year after. The year of the release of the Blob, we were filming the 4D Man, which has a 1959 release date. So it's really tough to get your head around.
All right, well, I'm sure people have all kinds of questions. Won't we field some? Anyone have a question for her? Okay,
great. First man in there.
Okay. Green shirt?
Yes,
first.
he was first.
Were you involved with Dinosaurus?
I wasn't involved other than the fact that my father moved us all to California for 6 months while we shot that. And I did go on the soundstage, and they were between set-up shots with the caveman about to be, rocked to sleep or lullabied by Christina Hansen. So I saw that. I was frankly much more impressed that at California Studios, where it was shot there, they had the permanent street set for Gunsmoke. And I was much more impressed at that point in seeing, I was looking for Miss Kitty on Main Street, but she wasn't there. They were shooting that day. But it was really cool to stand on that lot. But I didn't, other than that, going to that, I went to junior high at John Burroughs High, right near the La Brea tar pits, and right by the farmer's market, and where they had a great joke shop and a lot of other stuff. I really wasn't involved, didn't see any of the special effects. I did for the Blob and the 4D men, since they were shot across the street. I saw a lot of that stuff, but I really didn't participate at all. I just was a normal 12-year-old kid going to 7th grade and experiencing the joys of sunny weather. Yeah, as a youth. Yes. Well, we worked a lot. As we got older, we did a lot of stuff. For example, the Lancaster Experience, we mixed at Todd AO, which was Mike Todd's facility, and they had 119 film dubbers there. The mixing console was 70 feet long. They had 3 guys in chairs with wheels and able to do that. We used over 45 channels, and we had the music in discrete surround sound, quad sound. Dolby 5.1 had not yet been invented. In fact, they showed us the prototype. The head technician showed us the first optical negative track that they were working on putting a Dolby 5.1 on.
You're talking about like 45 tracks, and back then, like music, like the Beatles were still using like 4 or 8 tracks.
Exactly, and linking things up and ping-ponging things.
That was high tech.
Listen, we had no money, but we had nothing but time and energy. And my dad, I ended up doing everything, because he said, "Hey, we're doing this World's Fair exhibit, and you need to learn about computer programming with MIDI, time code, and momentary contact switches." What are you talking about? I don't know what that. What are you talking? It sounds like tech talk to me. So whenever there was something that was going on, and if there wasn't money in the budget to go get a professional, my father would say to me or my youngest brother Jonathan, he would say, "You guys need to do this. Learn how to do it." So every of my sisters would do continuity, but there wasn't 2-strandedness, or they would do make cookies or do housekeeping. But my brothers were my middle brother, the middle child. And boy, does he never let us forget about that. I'm so put upon because I'm the middle child. Any middle children here? Feel that life is throwing you a curve because you're in the middle? And the look too.
Okay, Paul, I think you had a question.
Where did you get all those great-looking hot rods from the movie? And did you and Steve McQueen ever drive around any of those?
For those people that can't hear in the back, he's asking about the hot rods in the movie.
Well, in the 50s, in probably many towns in the country, there was a local hot rod club. In our area, they were called the Coachmen. And so the word went through, and Martin Vale's father was the postmaster, and he had a hot rod and other people, so he got the word out. And so that's how those folks all got involved. Most of those kids were from Coatesville, and some were from downtown and other parts of Rock. But no, we never drove those. I mean, I saw that aqua-colored old, what was it, Plymouth or Chrysler that Steve McQueen was driving in that. And of course, the close-ups were done in the studio, so the car was in the studio. And then when it peels out, it was actually right by Martin Vale's house. Right there, as I say, when Steve McQueen drove into the town at a breakneck pace after he spotted it with the old man and got everything on his. So no, I never rode in those because they wouldn't have let him drive their car. I mean that whole race going backward, which is an interesting conceit. He wasn't really driving there either. So.
All right, more questions for Kris, right up front.
Are there locations still standing, like the diner or the market?
Diner,
yeah, there are some. The garage where the mechanic gets eaten is still there. The elementary school, Barclay Elementary School is still there. They just changed the doors a little while ago. The house, where Doc Allen's house is right across from Reeves Park. They have removed the front porch part of that, but that was, once again, inside baseball lyrics when I say it ain't Stephen Chase and the nurse at old Doc Struce's place. That was Dr. Struce, my father's osteopath, and my father would go in for a massage from his osteopath, and we went to church with him, so that was the house that we used for that. So there's a lot of things, and actually, I think if you're really interested in going there, if you go to Blobfest, or if you're just driving through Phoenixville, they have a self-guided tour that my friend Dave Lynch put together, so you can find where all those locations are. But the diner fell apart and had been hauled away years ago. There's another diner sitting on the foundation. The foundation's the same. The diner is in some landfill somewhere. But there are definitely things that are still around.
Okay, more questions for Kris. Okay, Dan?
All your father's films, which was of all your father's films that you helped him on, which is your personal favorite?
Well, just from a filmmaking point of view, I think I like 4D Man the best. I think 4D Man is the best film. It doesn't have all the cultural elements that, with the cars and teenagers and, the Midnight Spook Show and all that really campy stuff from the 50s, but Bob Lansing was such a great actor, and his performance of the anti-hero, and struggling with the good and evil is just really great. And of course Robert Strauss, who was in Stalag 17, plays a scientist. And when he came down for the filming of the 4D Man, he brought his family down because we had all these buildings and rooms and stuff left over, and he brought the first hula hoop I ever saw. So in 1958. So, but I love the jazz score that Ralph Carmichael did in the 4D Man, and of course he did the music for the Blob, and you hear him every year when you listen to Nat King Cole's Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. Ralph Carmichael did the score for that and the arrangements. And because Nat's normal arranger wasn't available, and he got so mad, he said, "Give me somebody else who can write like that." And Ralph did it, and then Nat King Cole was just so impressed that he did everything that Nat King Cole did for the rest of his life till the throat cancer now.
Here's geeky fan minutia from me.
Okay.
Okay, in the movie The Blob, when I was a kid and saw The Blob, and it had the theater saying Daughter of Art with Bela Lugosi, I thought, because I was always studying famous monsters magazine, that's wrong. He's not in Daughter of Art. Later I learned, as I'm sure most people do, the spook shows, Bela Lugosi would host a lot of those, and that's why I think what your dad or whoever came up with that was wanting this replicated.
Yes, and if you see, I'm not sure if it's in Wes's book or not, but don't you have a shot that has the marquee that's done, and it's not the same. It's not the same thing on the marquee as it ended up afterwards. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What did it say, Wes? What did they originally say? Do you remember?
Also better because because there are two facts. There are two theories. One is that yes, Lugosi was hosting some horror midnight spook shows, but also Jack Harris, the producer of the film, who was just trying to give Daughter of Horror some exposure.
Right.
Was also distributing Lugosi film.
Right, that was back in the days when films were distributed by what's known as states' rights, where you bought a territory, because Jack also distributed Godzilla, and you had to do your own posters and your own artwork, and you had a territory that you got to cover. And of course, that is the film. It was a Daughter of Horror. It was the film that they're looking at that's on the screen when they're inside the theater.
But then Lugosi was also in a film
You can refer to that too.
A terrible film that Jack Harris.
Most of the Jack's films were
And for those that know, Wes, like Kris, is a Blob historian from that area.
My dad sold the bucket of Blob to Wes after it was done, so Wes has the bucket of Blob. I have a bit of Blob. I have Blob.
Both very tasty.
Yes.
Okay, any more questions for Kris right now? Okay, okay, we'll go one more here, Pete.
Well, she spent the summer of 1957 in the bedroom next to me. We had a joint closet and a joint bathroom. My brother, the middle brother, also, he and I lived there, but we were not allowed to use the bathroom or the closet when she was in there. We had to use the girls' bathroom on the other side of the house, the second floor. I don't know if she's gone. I don't know that she ever married or whatnot, but she didn't bathe. I mean, that's one of the things I remember. She definitely had an odor about her, and she was not very pleasant. Conversely, the next year, Lee Merriweather, who'd been Miss America, was in that same bedroom, and we were the same rules and everything. But she was just so much fun. There was a Patty Payne song. Hi, Lee, I lo, hi, Lee, I lo, oh, you were such a cute Marine, I really was impressed. You said of all the girls you loved that you loved me the best. Anyhow, so those of you who are old enough to remember that. And so every time we would see Lee Merriweather, my brothers and sisters, and I go, hi, Lee, hi, lo. So, but she's a fun lady and a real pleasure. Of course, she was Miss America, so she had to know how to interact with people. Anita Corso was an actress, and actors and actresses, I guess now they're all called actors. Don't want to discriminate and call you something specific just because you have a different sexual assignment or something. Anyhow, I was, yes, Madam Congresswoman, man, it's like you're no longer a chairman of the board. You're the chairperson of the board. So anyhow, I guess it's okay to do that, but let's not get your knickers in a knot over. Come on, people.
All right. Well, we want to really thank Kris for being here. And please, he's got so much history, and you can see him at the end of the guest of honor hallway. He's got lots of stuff. You got the Blob, you got the stickers. That book is really cool. I could see it closer probably than you could when he was flipping through it. So make sure you see Kris. Monster Bash. Thanks you, Kris.
It's my pleasure. Really. And if you will come to the Blob Fest, I'll be there and it'll be fun. Thank you all. Thank Ron. He's one of the sweetest people I know, and definitely the nicest man in this field. There's no question about it. You're a real prince.